What's up, legends? Today is yet another good day. Helldivers 2 has launched the new Warbond titled the Truth Enforcers. And as per usual, of course, we bought the new Warbond, we farmed some games, and bought everything that's relevant to gameplay and tried everything as well. That means the weapons, the armor sets, and the utilities. For the drip divers out there, I'm really sorry, man. I didn't have enough medals to purchase everything yet. I'll get there though. So drip aside, what we've gotten for the Truth Enforcers Warbond is 2 new armor sets, a light and a medium, both with a new armor passive, a new booster, a secondary weapon, and 2 new primary weapons. Now, did we finally get some powerful choices on launch? Let's go ahead and take a look. Now let's start off with the booster. The booster, known as Dead Sprint, reads, allows Helldivers to keep sprinting even when they are out of stamina, draining their health instead. Now right off the bat, off of the description alone, I'm not a huge fan. After all, with a booster such as the stamina enhancement, you pretty much gain the entirety of your stamina back in just a few short seconds, and running completely dry on stamina is not really a common occurrence, and generally, if you're in an emergency and you need that extra sprint, which does happen from time to time, you can just stim yourself and gain all of your stamina back and then some. On top of that, the stamina enhancement will also increase the duration of that sprint, so overall it just kind of sounds far better. Either way though, let's take a look at the numbers. Sprinting without the stamina enhancement, in this case with the dead sprint, we're looking at the same base sprint duration of 30 continuous seconds of sprinting. Once you do run out of stamina and start tapping into your health for dead sprint, you will get about 25 seconds more worth of sprint if you start at full health. In other words, you burn through about 3 to 4% of your health per second while sprinting off of your health. I say about 3 to 4% because dead sprint won't actually take you to 0%, or in other words, it won't kill you. It will stop at about 5 to 10%, at which point dead sprint will stop working. If you have no health to burn, you will not be given any extra sprint, so you better stim up. Overall, for solo play, I'll never use this. I just don't see the benefit of it over the stamina enhancement. For group play though, if your team wants to max out on sprinting, this could be a viable choice. Now moving on to the better stuff, onto the armor sets, we've got the Bloodhound medium armor and the Inspector light armor. Both of these come equipped with a new armor passive titled Unflinching, which reads, helps prevent Helldivers from flinching when hit. Now hell yeah, if you've seen my videos in the past, this is coincidentally my most requested armor passive. I have begged for this passive in my videos in so many automaton gameplays. Speaking of which, in my eyes, this armor is an automaton specific armor set, as stray bullets will send your crosshair flying, and it makes for sniping or hitting accurate shots a huge pain in the ass when the automatons are unleashing a flurry of shots in your way. And it often makes you have to rely on your stratagems, since you're gonna be flinching everywhere with your weapon if you try it that way. Now the description sounds great, but is the armor passive good? I am very happy to say that this armor passive delivers on its promise. It does actually reduce flinching by a lot. It makes you almost perfectly accurate even when you get shot at. Granted, there is still a little bit of flinching, but very little in comparison. To me, this armor set will see tons of use against automatons. For me, the top 3 armor passives for automatons being either the Scout for stealth play, the Engineering Kit for extra thermites, and now, without a doubt, the Unflinching. I do have one big complaint about this armor though. Why in the world is there not a heavy armor set version of this? I mean, this armor passive is specifically designed for you to get shot at, so obviously its best use would be on a heavy armor set. I can just imagine wearing a heavy armor set, laying down suppressive fire with a machine gun without worrying about flinching all over the place. But alas, that's not a thing. To me, that truly made no sense whatsoever. But anyways, I'm sure it's something they'll introduce through the Superstore at one point. And when they do, it will be the armor set of the moment for sure. Now let's get on to the big conversation points of this Warbond, the weapons. First, let's start off with the plasma pistol. We're looking at 125 damage, 7 shots per mag, minimal recoil, and an impressive 1000 fire rate. Now, if you're a plasma enjoyer, I can confidently say you will love this pistol. I'm not one that enjoys the plasma options that much, but honestly, if it weren't for the Senator revolver, this plasma pistol would be my favorite sidearm. I just love revolvers in any game, honestly. The plasma pistol hits like a truck. You've got two ways to shoot it. You can either spam it without charging, which fires extremely quickly and deals a huge burst of damage, but is a terrible choice from an ammo efficiency point of view, especially considering this weapon only has 7 shots. Or you can charge your shots and deal a huge burst of damage per shot, which is likely what you'll be doing most of the time anyways. And then by doing this, you deal a ton of damage, being able to take out units such as the Hive Guard and the Armored Spewer with only 2 shots. And the great thing about this pistol is that each shot charges up extremely quickly. I could be wrong, but I think it might have the fastest charge up out of any weapon in the game. Again, I could be wrong, but it is extremely quickly charging it up, so it's really not troublesome. Against the automatons, it's an amazing pick. It tears through most of the units that are not heavily armored, taking out Devastators and Rocket Striders with just a couple of shots, as well as dealing AoE damage while doing so. Against the bugs, it's still pretty good, but personally I'm not a fan of plasma weapons against the bugs, especially due to the very limited ammo count. I feel a supply pack is often necessary to properly enjoy plasma weapons against the Terminids. But my opinions aside, if you enjoy plasma weapons against the bugs, there is literally no way you won't love this weapon there. For me, I am very satisfied with this pistol. Moving over to the new SG-20 Halt shotgun. This shotgun seems like a pretty standard shotgun with no gimmicks to it, but it's a lot better than that. And I am once again happy to say that it is quite a beast. When you look at its stats, we've got 385 damage, 16 capacity, 120 recoil, and 80 fire rate. When you switch over to the Punisher or the Slugger, you'll see that there's not much of a change other than the damage, as it falls somewhere in between both of these. So what exactly does the Halt shotgun bring to the table? First off, the Halt shotgun's pellet spread is very tight, making it an extremely accurate weapon, yet it still does have some spread, enabling it to damage multiple units rather than just one single target, which is something that the Slugger can too. And its spread is also so tight that it is fairly easy to hit all pellets, making its max damage potential easy to reach. Sadly, I didn't find any data mined information on this weapon's durable damage, however, it feels very high. Essentially, this weapon deals tons of damage to highly durable enemies. One enemy that I find very frustrating to deal against, the Alpha Commanders, generally have a high durability, which makes most weapons have to take a bunch of shots at them to be able to kill them. The Halt shotgun, however, if you hit them dead on in the face, 2 shots and you'll get rid of these suckers. It's amazing. It can comfortably one-hit hunters and devastators if you're accurate. Berserkers, which are very durable enemies, can also be very quickly dealt with just a couple of shots from this beast. Its stagger is a bit weaker than that of the Punisher, but its killing potential is reliably more powerful. But that's not all. This shotgun also carries stun rounds, which you can switch in the weapon menu. These stun rounds have their own ammo count, so you could essentially be out of stun ammo, for example, but still have regular rounds ammo when you switch back. Now, these stun rounds function just like a stun grenade would, in the sense that enemies become completely stunned. However, do note that depending on the enemy, you need to land a couple of pellets at least. It seems that the stun kind of builds up, so if you really inaccurately, let's say, just hit 1 pellet on a stalker, it won't immediately stun them. You kind of have to hit it with at least a few pellets for it to become fully stunned, which makes sense in my opinion. So as long as you're not completely inaccurate, you'll stun them with ease. The downside, however, is the stun rounds have an extremely low armor penetration, meaning that it can only stun a limited amount of enemies. Some of the best uses I could think of is stunning berserkers when they're overwhelming you, then switching back to regular ammo to finish them off. Another one is stunning a Hulk by shooting its back if you get get a clear shot at it to fully disable it, and then you can finish it off with a couple of shots as well. But the best use I found for it so far was stunning stalkers. You all know how that usually plays out. You start blasting a stalker from a mile away, but it still reaches you and sends you flying. However, with the stun rounds, as soon as you see it, you can stun it, then walk up to it and put a few shots and put it to rest. Either way, these are just some examples. I'm sure there's a lot more situations it can be useful on. Oh, and yeah, it does not stun Bile Titans. And if you're a mega nerd, you can spam reload as you fire and essentially not really have to stop to reload. All in all, I think this might be the best shotgun in the game. Lastly, for this Warbond is the SMG-32 Reprimand. This SMG brings 125 damage to the table with 25 shots, 44 recoil, and 490 fire rate. This SMG is a two-handed weapon, making shield builds not as viable with this one, but it makes sense. This weapon packs a hell of a punch, so it makes sense for it to be two-handed. The recoil on it is very strong, one of the stronger recoils in the entire game. It would be wise to bring an armor set which reduces recoil, because this thing has a hell of a kick. So what does this SMG bring to the table that others do not? Well, that's actually pretty much it. It deals a crap ton of damage and can penetrate medium armor, making it arguably the best SMG to deal with Devastators, Berserkers, Hive Guards, Alpha Commanders, and so on. This SMG's damage is so high, it actually beats all of the assault rifles as well, making it arguably the best automatic weapon in the entire game, assuming you can get its recoil under control. But here's the thing, the SMG is amazing, its damage is fantastic, I legitimately believe it's one of the best automatic weapons in the game, if not the best, yet I don't really see myself choosing this over some of the other options in the long run. I mean, we've got a shotgun that can stun enemies, a shotgun that can light enemies on fire, we've got an infinite ammo medium penetrating weapon, we've got an infinite ammo assault rifle, we've got weapons that deal tons of AoE damage, we've got SMGs that can pair up with shields and become super tanky, etc. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm not exactly sure how Arrowhead can turn assault rifles into being relevant weapons, given that we actually have quite a few weapons that are almost objectively better than a standard firing assault rifle. Am I the only one that feels this way? Let me know in the comments. Regardless of that minor rant, I do believe that this SMG is the best, let's say, standard automatic weapon in the game. I mean standard in the sense that it has no gimmicks, it's just a regular damaging weapon. Now overall, I think this was the best Warbond release to date as far as day one goes. I mean, previous Warbonds has had their weapons tweaked, and nowadays some of the previous Warbonds have some crazy good choices, but today's release, right off the bat, came out swinging with some serious punch. The armor set passives are amazing for automaton players. It's just sad they didn't release a heavy armor set, but hopefully we'll get that soon. The shotgun, I feel, could be the best shotgun in the entire game, absolutely destroying everything in its path, and its stun function is such an amazing addition. The SMG, with its insane damage, and is arguably the best automatic standard weapon in the game, packing a crap ton of damage, and also the plasma pistol is super strong as well. I still think the Senator is a favorite for me, but the plasma pistol is a lot more forgiving with its aim, and its damage is definitely up there. It's really good. And the booster was more or less kind of so-so, pretty forgettable in my opinion. I don't think I'll ever pick it, but that's about the only thing that wasn't great in this Warbond in my opinion. What do you guys think? Is this the best Warbond you've seen so far, or did you expect more? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be catching you legends on the next one. Peace!